This is one of the border's most remote stretches, now one of the busiest. In the last year alone, there's been a 140% spike in migrant apprehensions in this area.
I've been working in this sector of the border for almost 20 years, and we've never seen anything like this. They're cutting through the wall.
Our cameras captured one of those breaches. Hey guys. Smugglers hid their faces. This is the breach in the wall that the smugglers have cut through, and this is what the Border Patrol is up against. This is not an anomaly by any means. Here's another one, Rod, that was just cut and repaired today.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about another state/local level Democrat begging the Biden administration for money to deal with the illegal immigration crisis. Now, typically when we talk about this issue, we're talking about Democrat-run cities like Chicago and New York that have declared themselves to be sanctuary cities. And in particular, when you look at New York City, you have Eric Adams. He goes back and forth to the Biden administration begging for money to deal with the crisis, something that he basically asked for. Now, Biden has essentially ignored Eric Adams' request, okay, because he doesn't really want to deal with the issue, right? It is a political hot potato for him, and he'd rather just ignore it and allow the country to be invaded rather than to actually secure the border. I don't think that he should be sending money to these liberal cities, okay? So I agree with him when it comes to that, but I don't agree with him when it comes to his refusal to actually secure the border, and that comes with consequences because some of these Democrats that are running these blue states/blue cities all of a sudden now are showing you how bad illegal immigration is when the border is open. And we got to talk about another Democrat who is sounding the alarm and teeing off on Biden for the terrible job that he's doing when it comes to securing the border. And that Democrat governor is Katie Hobbs, who, you know, I think that I'm still wondering how she actually ended up getting elected, considering how she hid in her basement the whole time and didn't really campaign for governor. Okay, I still don't really understand how in the world she became governor over Kari Lake. But Katie Hobbs is now begging Biden for money to deal with the border crisis, and Biden is ignoring Katie Hobbs. So now Katie Hobbs has to send the National Guard to the border because Biden refuses to reopen a border crossing station, Luketown, that was closed down by the federal government because the migrant crisis was so bad that they had to use the agents and the employees that worked at that border crossing. They had to reassign them to work on the front lines to prevent more illegals from coming into the country and to process the ones that are seeking asylum. So that station has been closed down, the Luketown border crossing station between Arizona and Mexico, and that has caused some serious economic problems and issues for local residents. So again, Katie Hobbs has now said, you know what, screw it, I am going to order the National Guard to go to the border to help deal with the crisis. And I am also sending Biden an invoice of $500 million for the cost that we incurred to defend the border because it's a federal problem. Take a look.
Governor Katie Hobbs mobilizing the Arizona National Guard, sending them to the border. This comes as the Lukeville Port of Entry has now been closed for 11 days. It is taking a big toll on business owners in the Rocky Point area where, as we've been reporting, tourism is 90% of the town's economy.
This video showing beaches looking like a ghost town. The economic impact might reach millions of dollars if this closure lasts through the holidays.
Governor Hobbs can't reopen the Lukeville Port of Entry because control of the border is a federal responsibility.
But as ABC 15 political reporter Mark Phillips reports, the decision comes after repeated requests to the Biden administration for help here, and those have gone unanswered.
Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs issued an executive order Friday, just hours after meeting with Sonora Governor Alfonso Durazo. The issue at the border, front of mind as well for Congressman Greg Stanton.
The point we need to make to the Biden administration, who may not be aware just how important that port of entry is to the economy of Arizona.
The Guard's mission is to provide support to local law enforcement and the Department of Public Safety. assisting in the efforts to stop fentanyl smuggling and human trafficking. What the Guard won't be doing is opening the Lukeville port of entry, which is what Governor Hobbs requested when she sent a letter to the president last week.
It is absolutely straining our capacity, which is why we have continued to talk to the feds about the need for additional support. And I'll again share my continued frustration at this situation and their lack of response.
The Lukeville port of entry remains closed, while Customs and Border Protection uses its resources to process the thousands of migrants who continue to enter the United States through the Tucson sector. Mark Phillips, ABC 15, Arizona.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that, right? So I want you guys to understand what's happening here. So the Lukeville port of entry is a border crossing where people who come into the country legally go, okay? However, Biden shut that down because he wanted to move the agents that were working there to other places to process the migrants coming across the border. So essentially, you're punishing legal immigrants and American citizens who use that border crossing on a daily basis, okay? And that's, again, a big deal, okay? Because it is essentially hurting the economy of Arizona, that local area, and in Mexico as well, too, okay? Who benefit from the American tourists going to the beaches and things of that nature. Now, Katie Hobbs is upset because just like Eric Adams, she's been going to the White House and meeting with officials in the Biden administration. However, they're not responding to any of her requests, okay? She kind of sent them a $500 million invoice saying, you need to reimburse us for the cost that we have spent to secure the border because you're not securing the border, right? That is what she's requesting. And they're also requesting that that port of entry be opened back up. But again, Biden, when it comes to Eric Adams, has given Katie Hobbs deaf ears, okay? He's not really listening. He doesn't want to hear it. He's ignoring it. And again, we talked about this before. One of the reasons why he's ignoring it is because, again, this is a political hot potato for him, right? If he ends up helping out Arizona or any of these Democrat mayors that are also begging for money and help, okay? If he does that, then he's essentially acknowledging that the problem exists, right? He's actually acknowledging that, yes, our borders are not secure. It's a big problem. Also on top of that, if he helps out one of the Democrats, then he has to help out the Republican states, like, for example, Texas. He has to help out Texas. And at that point, it becomes a big problem for the Biden administration, something that he really does not want to deal with. So what he's banking on is maybe, just maybe, Democrats and Republicans in Congress can come to a compromise, which I don't think is necessary because we need a conservative solution, not a compromise on the border, right? He's banking on the Democrats and Republicans, maybe, just maybe, coming to a compromise in order to deal with the issue. Take a look.
Spokesman for the White House says that conversations surrounding that deal on immigration continue to move in the right direction, as CBS News has learned that a deal on immigration could be reached as soon as this Sunday, and with it, sweeping changes to the nation's immigration system.
Senate and White House negotiators say they will work through the weekend to craft a deal on immigration. The framework would be part of a multi-billion-dollar supplemental funding package that includes aid for Israel and Ukraine. Some Republicans have said they will not vote on the measure until significant immigration reforms take place.
Our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first. The border is an absolute catastrophe.
Amid record numbers of migrants arriving at the U.S. southern border, the White House has signaled it would be willing to accept drastic limits on asylum, along with an expansion of detentions and deportations, according to those briefed on the plan. Those changes have some members of the president's party upset.
A return to Trump-era policies is not the fix. In fact, it will make the problem worse. Mass detention, gutting our asylum system, Title 42 on steroids. It is unconscionable.
The White House stance is a far cry from what candidate Joe Biden said on the campaign trail.
Those who come seeking asylum, we should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
The White House hopes a deal on immigration could lead to GOP support for Ukraine funding, which officials have said will run out by the end of the year.
Meanwhile, even if a deal is struck with Senate Republicans, the House still gets a say, and some House Republicans have called for things such as border construction and the Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy be part of the legislation. Dana?
All right, Willie James Inman at the White House. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm not so sure exactly what is there to compromise on when it comes to the border, because I don't think that there should be any compromise, okay? We need mass deportations. We need to severely limit the asylum seeking process. Okay, we've taken too many people who are coming over here taking advantage of the asylum system, right? They're taking advantage of it partly because of what you heard there from Joe Biden as a candidate when he said that, hey, if people come over and say, I'm seeking asylum, we should immediately take them in, right? Which, again, that is what initially led to the surge at the border in the first place, is the fact that these people were told by the then candidate Joe Biden that, hey, yeah, we're going to let you in. Hey, the border's open. Just come on in. Just say that you're seeking asylum, and we'll take you right on in. We'll give you a nice blanket, a hot meal, put you in some 3-star hotels in New York City, etc., right? That's exactly what we're going to do, okay? And lo and behold, they came, right? They came in droves. They found out that it's a free-for-all, that, yeah, people can come here. It's fine. No big deal. They told their families to come. Those hombres came, right? That's what happened. That's what happened. And now our border is being overwhelmed. And this issue is so bad for the Biden administration that it is the second worst issue for the Biden administration behind crime. And a vast majority of the American people want a conservative solution. They want our border secure. They want mass deportations. We have to severely limit the number of asylum seekers that are even eligible to apply, right? Period. Like we just don't have the capacity anymore. We don't have the space. And we need to send our military to the border as well, too. We should declare war at the border and say that we're going to treat the border just like we treat any other war that we fight, in which we actually try to secure the border and we don't allow people to come into this country illegally, period. That's what needs to happen. And I don't know why the Republicans would compromise with a man whose approval ratings are in the tank, right? You don't need to compromise with that guy. He has nothing, right? He has nothing. He has no leverage over you, right? Oh, well, he wants to fund Ukraine. Well, I'm telling you, Republicans aren't going to lose one vote for saying, look, Biden won't secure our border. So therefore, no, we're not going to send money overseas to defend some other country's border. They're not going to lose one vote over that. I guarantee you. Nobody's going to say, oh, well, I can't vote for Republicans because they don't want to send more money to Ukraine before sending money to the border or securing the border. I don't think so. I think it's going to hurt them that bad. I really do think that they should not settle for anything less than actually securing the border and solving the problem. We don't have to sit here and capitulate the Democrats and their demands to have more resources towards processing people and bringing more illegals into this country. We don't need to capitulate any of that. We need to go with the conservative solution and have mass deportations because too many people were allowed to come in, severely limit the number of people that are coming in now, and secure the border. And again, if we got to use the military to do it, we need to do it. And that's just the reality of the situation. So again, it'll be interesting to see what deal the Republicans and Democrats come to in regards to this issue. At some point, they're probably going to have to come to a deal because you know that the establishment, they want to fund Ukraine no matter what, right? They got to get money to Daddy Zelensky, who comes to Congress to have his hand out and beg, right? Beg for more money. So, hey, we'll see how it goes. But until then, we have another Democrat governor that is going after Joe Biden, attacking Joe Biden for ignoring her when it comes to the problem of illegal immigration and the migrant crisis. Now, I wonder what they're going to pull out on Katie Hobbs. Are they going to say that Katie Hobbs is some sort of, I don't know, sex offender, right? Did she commit Me Too, right? Did she money launder, right? Are they going to say that the Arizona election wasn't actually really fair, right? What are they going to say about Katie Hobbs, okay? I wonder what they're going to pull out of their butts in regards to the smear against Katie Hobbs for standing up to the mob, right? I wonder what they're going to say. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.